Hi there. Do you want to use LinkedIn to share your messaging, post your content, connect with potential clients and partners? Of course you do. You know, what's funny about LinkedIn, which is the subject of our conversation today? What's funny about LinkedIn is that most of us realize that LinkedIn is a business to business platform, and that's where you go for professional networking and connections, right? However, what most of us realize is that LinkedIn is not as easy of a nut to crack in terms of figuring out how to use the features or really how to maximize our time on this social media platform, say compared to a Facebook or an Instagram. And so oftentimes people don't really know how to maximize their time and effort on LinkedIn to get a real return. So they just kind of ignore it. Well, we're going to stop ignoring LinkedIn. One must champion themselves and say, I am ready for this. I am your host, Miss Kemya, digital marketing strategist and social media manager, and I am all about the content and repurposing. Today, I want to share some features of LinkedIn and how you can repurpose your content from other platforms onto LinkedIn to get seen, to be heard, and connect with those people that you want to connect with. Get eyeballs on your content, and particularly if you're in a B2B space, LinkedIn is where it's at. LinkedIn is where you need to be. So first things first, let's talk about repurposing, okay? I'm going to tell you right now, the art of repurposing is not a simple copy and paste. So if this is what you're thinking, get this out of your head. Repurpose does not mean copy and paste, okay? So now that we got that out of the way, repurposing is where it's at. Repurpose for the win. So why repurpose? First of all, you save yourself time. You save yourself time because you don't have to constantly figure out when you're going to create content from scratch all the time. You save yourself from headaches and stress because once you don't have to create content from scratch all day, every single day, you are freed up to do other things in your business. If you decide to repurpose your content, and for these purposes of this presentation, we're talking about LinkedIn, you can actually get maximum mileage from your content because you're getting more eyeballs on it. So your connections may see it, and then the degrees from your connections will see your content as well. This ultimately will increase your reach and visibility and get maximum mileage from that content that you invest so much time into creating. So let's now talk about the value of repurposing and how to specifically repurpose one piece of meaty content as an example. If you have that one meaty piece of content, you can break it up and repurpose it into a multitude of things. So what I would typically do is, if you have a meaty piece of content, we'll use this 1,500 word article as an example. You likely have a header, subheaders, and sub-subheaders. You may have things bolded. You know, when you format your final article, it may be things bolded, and it's really broken out, because I'm going to assume your 1,500 words is not just one long Word document by the time you publish it, right? You're going to have some graphics in there, links and things like that. Well, why not take that one meaty piece of content and repurpose it? You can create 3 to 5 short videos from that one piece of content. Look at the subheaders in your content. I use my subheaders as my dividers, or as like my guide for my blueprint for repurposing. So every subheader section can be a short video, right? Every subheader title can be a shareable graphic, and then you can write a subsequent text update to go with that graphic. You can even break out that long form piece of content into audiograms if you wanted. You could speak highlighted features in there. You could even do a live stream and use that article as your script for a live stream. You might be able to get a couple live streams out of that. Or you can create a webinar based on the content in that one article. So you can use one piece of meaty pillar content and you can repurpose it in all of these ways. Okay, and that's really the value of repurposing. That's how you repurpose your content, and you can do all of this on LinkedIn, since we're talking about LinkedIn. And this is how you maximize the time and effort that you put into it to get the most mileage out of one piece of content. Now, if your brain is already looking like this, you're already in the fog in the days trying to figure out how you're supposed to do all of this, don't worry. We're going to go through a step-by-step process of the features of LinkedIn and then how you can repurpose using each one of these features so that you have a systematic approach to looking at the content that you have and repurposing it specifically for LinkedIn. So stay with me. So let's talk about LinkedIn posts to start with, okay? So we're starting at the basic foundation of LinkedIn posts, when you log into LinkedIn and you post a standard update. So what can you do with LinkedIn posts? A lot of people just use standard text posts, but you don't have to stop there. You can add photos, you can add videos, you can even add a document or create a poll. And this is your standard LinkedIn post update. Next feature we're going to tackle is LinkedIn articles, and this is really where you want to maximize your time and your effort on LinkedIn, and so many people are not utilizing this key feature. So let's dive into how you can repurpose your content for LinkedIn articles. LinkedIn articles, otherwise known as LinkedIn posts, is where you write articles, and there are really few character limits. The reason why you want to use LinkedIn articles, first and foremost, is you can only share so many characters when you're writing an update from your personal profile or your company page. And then people have to click a link or read for more information. But your posts get lost in a news feed. And if you know anything about social media news feeds, they get crowded and posts get lost and they have a certain shelf life. You want to use LinkedIn articles because they have a much longer shelf life and they give you more character count space to position yourself as an expert. So you can really do a deep dive into topics that are of value to your audience. You can comment on trending articles on LinkedIn and trending topics. You can write an article as a response to a trending topic and then link the original article that you're referring to, link that in a post. Using LinkedIn articles, you can share pillar content. You can write those thought pieces directly on LinkedIn. If you want to repurpose existing articles you already have, you can repurpose an existing blog post, for example. You can repurpose it into a LinkedIn article. You can share one of the meaty pieces of your existing blog post as a LinkedIn article and say, you can have a call to action that says click here to read the full post. Or you can completely republish it on LinkedIn and say this article was originally republished on the My Coaching blog, for example. Get your multimedia on when you are publishing LinkedIn articles as well. You don't just have to write text. Your article is going to have photos. It'll have a cover photo. You can add videos. Really get your multimedia on the LinkedIn platform when you are writing LinkedIn articles. And then here's the thing. A lot of people, they're like, okay, well, why should I post an article? I could just do a standard post or an update. I say, no, no, no. Give me both. Why both? Because of the shelf life of a typical status post update versus an article. Okay, so think about this when in terms of a shelf life of a post. So if you post a status update on LinkedIn, people may see it. But in a couple days, whether people are commenting, sharing, liking, etc., getting lots of engagement, in a few days, that post is going to disappear. LinkedIn is going to not going to show that to your audience anymore. However, when you post an article on LinkedIn, they are Googleable. Articles are Googleable. They will show up via Google and they will also show up from your LinkedIn profile. So as a result, your content is no longer dead in the water. People can find your article next month with no problem. This is why I say it's not a question of posts versus articles. Give me both. Do both. Next up, we have LinkedIn newsletters. And whenever I bring up the subject of LinkedIn newsletters, this is usually response. What? What in the world are you talking about? Yes, LinkedIn has newsletters that you can create and people can subscribe to. So what's up with LinkedIn newsletters and how can they work for your business? LinkedIn newsletters arrived in 2020. Most people don't even know they exist, which means few people are actually using them in their LinkedIn marketing strategies. So, just like you subscribe to people's newsletters on their websites, you can subscribe to newsletters directly on LinkedIn. Of course, this is great in terms of your visibility and gaining followers on LinkedIn and ultimately building your network, right? So you have to start out with articles on LinkedIn and you publish those articles to your newsletter and then people can subscribe to your newsletter. So in terms of content, of course, the content in your newsletters, you would likely curate around a specific topic. So I might, for example, write articles about social media marketing and create a social media marketing newsletter. And then when I write articles about blogging, I can create a blogging tips newsletter, that kind of thing, right? So that's how you can curate content around the topics in your niche that your audience is interested in. The beauty of LinkedIn newsletters, like I said, is that people can follow and subscribe to your LinkedIn newsletter. What does that mean in terms of the algorithm? This means you're keeping people on LinkedIn longer, which means the algorithm is happy. When the algorithm is happy, it shows your content to more people, which ultimately keeps you in front of your audience for a longer period of time. So when it comes to repurposing content, again, you're going to repurpose content for your articles, and that content is going to be subsequently published to your newsletter. Okay, so as you're thinking about your articles, think with a goal of publishing a newsletter so you can kind of aggregate the topics that you write about and when you write about them. Next up, let's talk about LinkedIn events. People are not using LinkedIn events to their maximum potential. Okay, so in order to understand LinkedIn events, if you are not using LinkedIn events yet, take a page out of Facebook events if you use Facebook events. So you get a page and you can start conversations with people. You can invite people to the event. You can keep your guests informed. You can post videos. You can post videos on the event page. You can take polls. All this is available to you on LinkedIn events. But then they take it a step further. There's actually analytics directly on your LinkedIn event page. So you can really see what people are clicking, if it's visitors versus people that are attending the event. You get a full, complete event page. If you are a B2B company, a business to business company, and you're looking to connect with businesses and professionals and build business relationships, they're going to be on LinkedIn looking for the products and services that you offer. And you want to focus your energies in the places where your prospective clients and customers are looking for you. So you naturally want to be on LinkedIn. So why not use LinkedIn events to repurpose your content? Use LinkedIn events, for example, to launch a webinar. Okay, so let's say you're hosting a webinar, okay, and you've typically hosted webinars and they might be evergreen. What can you use with LinkedIn event? Create your event on LinkedIn, invite people, engage with the people, and then of course you can have the link to where people can sign up, they can register, the link to watch and things like that. But on that LinkedIn event page, you are connecting with people, you are engaging with people. So if once people start seeing your event that you are not connected to, you get to see them. Then you can go check out their profile and start connecting with them. And again, you are actually building your LinkedIn profile and increasing your visibility and your connections simply from using the LinkedIn platform. And guess what? All of this is for free. Everything I've told you today in this presentation, all of this is for free. That's the beauty of this. Okay, that's the beauty of using these things. But guess what we're going to go to next? We're going to go to another feature of LinkedIn that, again, most people are not privy to and they are not using. So far, we've talked about a few things that you can do on LinkedIn. We went over LinkedIn posts, we talked about LinkedIn articles, we brought up newsletters, and we also talked about how you can use LinkedIn events. So what's left? What's next? We go live. LinkedIn Live. Are you live on LinkedIn yet? Have you been approved for LinkedIn Live? Have you applied for LinkedIn Live? Do you even know what LinkedIn Live is? LinkedIn Live is LinkedIn's own live streaming platform. So what is the benefit of this and how can you repurpose it? Well, at its core, go live on LinkedIn. It is what it sounds like. It's live streaming, just like you can live stream on other social media platforms. But here's the thing, when you go live on LinkedIn, just like with the newsletters, you're feeding the algorithm. LinkedIn wants you to keep folks there. So, for example, when it comes to repurposing content for LinkedIn live streaming, let's say you have webinars that you're currently doing. Well, you can repurpose those webinars that you're using third party sites for. You can repurpose those as live streams directly on LinkedIn. If you are hosting Instagram lives, you can host LinkedIn lives as well. Other things that you can do if you have pillar content, if you have a blog post, articles that you've published on other platforms, you can create them as live streams directly on LinkedIn Live. Repurpose that content to drive more people to your brand to generate awareness. And again, what are we doing? Keeping people on the LinkedIn platform. How are we rewarded? The LinkedIn algorithms are happy and they are feeding us to our connections. This is an excellent way to repurpose content you already have. And so if you do not see, like when you go on LinkedIn and you don't see LinkedIn Live, you may have to apply for it. I applied and got approved. So you may have already have the feature, or if not, search for how to get approved on LinkedIn Live. And it's a simple process and you apply. But again, live streaming directly on LinkedIn. Deliver bite-sized content that you already use in other places on other digital properties. Just repurpose it for LinkedIn and create your own series of live streams on LinkedIn to keep people directly on the platform, which means the LinkedIn algorithms are happy and you go ultimately increase your visibility. And finally, I want to talk about repurposing content that you've posted on other social media platforms for LinkedIn. Now, normally it's not going to be a straight copy and paste because every platform has its own language and culture, etc. So you don't want to do a straight copy and paste from any other platform. For example, if you're posting on Instagram, that post is going to have hashtags and it'll say something like click the link in bio. Well, that makes no sense to post that on LinkedIn because that's not, you don't click a link in bio on LinkedIn. That's not the way you would do it. Okay, so you don't want to do a straight copy and paste, but you can repurpose content from one platform to LinkedIn. So, for example, if you are writing Instagram posts, of course, I know there's a picture with it. Repurpose that to LinkedIn. Depends on how long it is. It can be a post update or it can be an article. Some people write long form posts on Facebook. Is that you? If so, repurpose those into LinkedIn articles. Are you vlogging on YouTube? Repurpose those vlogs into live streams using LinkedIn Live. Are you a person that tweets threads on Twitter? Tie them together into one comprehensive LinkedIn article. I didn't say this would be easy, but it will be worth it. You just have to sit down and look at the content that you have now and figure out how you can repurpose it for a professional platform such as LinkedIn. And if you haven't been on LinkedIn for a while, like really dived into the features, I encourage you to give LinkedIn a fresh look. It has grown up over the years and it's not the same LinkedIn that we knew several years ago. I encourage you to come up with a plan and a strategy for using LinkedIn to reach those business customers to help you grow and scale your business and increase your connections. Get to network and make new friends. But again, keep folks on a LinkedIn platform. Repurpose your content for LinkedIn and it will be worth it. You will see your network grow. You will get more leads because you're getting in front of the right people. Like Michelle sitting there saying, this is hard. It's a hard job, but somebody got to do it. Okay, so hopefully you have kept up with me. And if you're wondering, okay, what are my next steps? What am I supposed to do now? You've armed me with all this information. Now what? It's time to dominate LinkedIn. Visit marketingsparkler.com/leverage dash LinkedIn to download your using LinkedIn to build your list checklist. This is where you get started. I have articles and resources all on that page, all about dominating LinkedIn. So that is your next step. Visit that page, learn how you can dominate LinkedIn using all of these features. To connect with me, I'm blogging at marketingsparkler.com. You can always tweet me at Miss Kenya. I'm on Instagram at Create Launch Profit. And of course, I'm using my full name on LinkedIn because it is a professional platform. You can go find Kenya Scott on LinkedIn. I hope to see you around these internet streets. Have a great day.